Like, there's no film type that bad.
Yeah.
Just burglars breaking in. Don't worry about it. All. It's fine.
We're just gonna die. That's all.
It's just the purge.
Hello. Hi guys. Welcome back. Hope you're having a lovely day today. I hope you're being productive, shooting lovely videos. Oops, I forgot to hide this. Now we're gonna look at it. Hi. See, it's weird, right? Now it's gone. You can't look at the thing.
That's
I know.
Okay. That's like how it is over there.
It's
now.
Yeah.
All right, I need to stop looking at your background.
So,
okay.
but we can't interact with ourselves anymore. I know it's narcissistic like that.
I know. I just was so into that.
Let's look at each other.
Okay.
Hey guys,
baby.
How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
We call our fans baby? Okay, that's awkward.
They're my babies.
What's up, babe? How's it going, boo? The Christmas tree's gone. That was the first thing I noticed when I turned on the camera. The next thing I noticed just now is that we don't have a time limit. So I feel so freeform right now.
This is going to be like an 8-hour video.
This is going to be so bad. It's going to be horrible.
18:10 just later, we'll get to the actual purpose of the video.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about, well, no, we're not even going to talk about anything. We're going to show you something.
Yes.
I had a spontaneous idea while I was planning the videos that we shot today. We shot one so far. We're doing a second one now. And one of the ideas I had was for us to sit down, take a portrait, and just edit it. No presets, just start the edit, go for it. And then
just
at the
raw.
end,
just raw. Taking that raw file, just a raw edit.
The essence of photography and life and photons
is editing.
And the youth of our hearts, you know?
Don't go out and take pictures, just edit.
Just... Exactly. That is fine advice from this man right here. Don't ever take a photo, just edit your photos. So we're gonna, I think what's gonna be cool about this is at the end, we're going to come together and we're going to compare these two photos together and see.
I'm probably gonna look different.
They're gonna look different.
More than likely.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah, you'll probably win.
Not this a competition, but I will win. And they're gonna look different in the end. So, you ready, Will?
I'm ready. Let's do this thing. All right, let's jump into the monitor now.
We should do. We should have like we should fight to edit the photo.
No, don't touch that clarity bar.
I don't want clarity.
What are you doing to the contrast? Use the tone curves. Tone curves, not contrast slider.
It's like a geeky fight of photography. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Purple shadows. No! Only use green.
It's too Instagram. It's way too hipster.
Don't add grain. What are you doing?
Gosh.
Digital was invented to kill grain.
It needs to be clear. Okay, we're gonna jump in. Let's do this.
Let's dive into this thing.
Here we go. Okay, so we're here in Lightroom. This is my Lightroom, not Will's Lightroom. I have an advantage.
No wonder why it looks so terrible.
I have a speed advantage on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be slow.
Those are my presets, but no presets today, Will.
All right.
Alas, we're just going to start from scratch. You understand. No,
I've never used Lightroom. I just shoot JPEG in the lowest quality possible,
Good.
And I edit in an old version of Microsoft. People don't know this program. Internet Explorer.
Okay.
Editing program. So
okay.
It's like the Internet Explorer of photo editing.
That's good. Okay. I mean, whatever floats your boat, man.
So this is gonna be my first attempt at Lightroom ever.
Okay. So hold on. I'm going to check something. I want to make sure. I wish I could tell what. Hopefully it's using our mic. So.
What? How can I do right click? I need my right click.
Okay. So first of all, I had to check and make sure our audio was okay, but now we're back, and I realized that Will uses a Windows machine, so there's a couple of things maybe different here.
So I'm
this is right click. You're good.
I'm in a severe handicap.
That's.
Here. I'm just saying. James is rigging the game.
That's right click, so you're fine there. Okay. and then command is gonna be. I love that this conversation is happening.
What even is command?
Command is technically probably control.
Ah, what?
So alt should be fine.
Okay.
Try it. We'll see. I mean,
Okay.
worst comes to worst, you'll make it. You'll get
Okay,
there.
guys.
I know it's different on somebody else's
Welcome
computer.
to Will Crooks' tutorial on how to edit James Red's photography. We got some really nice elevator music playing here. We're going to go through an edit of this lovely photo James took, and we're going to see, what I like to do. So let's start off right here. First we're going to paint in a little bit over here, and then suddenly we have an entire landscape. I'm just kidding. I'm not Bob Ross. So let's begin.
Put a cloud there.
I'm just gonna
It's
draw
a
some
happy
little
mistake.
lines here.
It's
Oops! And look,
if you mess
suddenly
it up,
it's
it's okay.
a giant scene. Like
a-
magic.
There's no undos in art. You just kind of flow with it and make it into something that works.
Okay. So the first thing I would do is I generally play around with exposure a little bit, and I just see. I mean, it looks like James shot this right where it should be.
Really badly. First thing you can do is actually go down to the profile settings and get rid of that vignette if you'd like.
Okay.
So click enable profile corrections, and that probably looks a little
Okay.
better. Maybe that's up to you. You do what you want.
No,
with
I
that.
usually add a little vignette to mine.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I'll just add the vignette artificially.
That's good. That's
Okay,
everything
so-
artificially.
All right, but yeah, I mean, it looks like James pretty much nailed exposure here. I mean, the first thing I'm probably going to do is, because I'm really anal about stuff, is I'm going to go in really, really close and, oh gosh, where's my controls? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to get my brush. I'm gonna get my brush out, which has a really long handle because you have this bar wider than my bar. So
yeah.
you've got a very long brush handle there. Okay, and I'm going to. Your brush size will probably be at 100%. Okay, good. James has a good brush going.
I do what I can.
I'm going to just. Oh, good. This works too. Wow, this is actually not as bad of an experience as I thought it was going to be. Okay, I'm just going to kill
Okay.
this highlight a little bit
Okay.
because I'm more anal about stuff than most people.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ride that down a little bit, and then, is there a done?
No, there's not. No, you're good. You should be fine.
How do
See, I
you-
don't know where the done is. Normally, there's like a little done button, but you
Yeah.
can just click out of the thing.
Oh,
and
that's
it
kind
should
of
be
weird.
fine.
I think it's because you can hide so many different things in Lightroom.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
you
I'm
feel
gonna
like I
get
used to have
I'm gonna
one.
get another one of this out again, but that's fine. It's like the same. The done key is like the same distance for everything, and I'm just gonna power down this highlight just a little bit
Down
more.
that head.
I'm powering down his head a little bit, just because James caught him with some kind of pretty strong light. I'm just gonna even out a little bit of tones. This is probably really boring for everyone,
No.
but this is what
good. This is fascinating to
almost
me.
every portrait I do will, because I mean everyone doesn't have makeup on and things. Like, we generally have shiny skin, so I think that looks about good. I generally I like the highlights here, so I mean I like the highlight on his arm and things. I mean, it gives a good dimensionality. Really just the head was the only place,
Yeah.
so I like that toned down a little bit. I mean, if I was really wanted to work on this a lot, I would probably, I'd do a little bit. I'd clean it up a little bit, and then I'd do a tiny bit of cloning to this highlight. Maybe, but what are we set on? Are we set on... Okay, we're on heel.
So do you tend to do a significant amount of skin? Like, what's your
Not for my street stuff. Wait, where did it choose from? Where did it choose
Oh,
from?
what'd you do?
Oh my gosh,
Like
I don't
Command
even
Z.
know
You
what
might
I'm
need to Command Z
doing.
that.
I don't even know.
You have to undo that one, or depending on what you want to do.
I don't know what I. Okay. And
Okay.
then let's come into this area. Let's dodge that hairline.
Okay.
Not
Okay,
really,
Will.
not really happy
All
with
right,
this
you're
one.
done.
Wait, I can't find where it came from. Where's the? Oh wait. Oh, where's that little bar here? Oh no. I'm sorry, everyone. Wait. Can I find it under filters?
Oh, man.
No.
I don't see. Yeah, I feel like I had a bar there. I
I
don't
feel
know where the
like
bar
there
went.
should be a bar
It makes
here,
me angry.
guys. I'm
just
sorry.
angry about this bar. Where'd you go?
It's not the exposure info bar. It's not any of those. It doesn't have to do with that bar.
This can be called James and Will.
Because there's
Figure out how to use
anyways,
Lightroom.
okay, well, I'm pretty okay with that. We're gonna just say we're gonna post Instagram. So
Let's hold up. So the quality has to be like 60%.
But like, okay, so obviously like now he has much less shine on the side of his head. So that was the overall goal. This nose one I'm not gonna mess with too much because I know from practice that it's gonna get really funky if I do too much. I mean, I'm literally just going to pull it down.
Bearded men are particular about their nose.
One more time. But like you can easily, and this might be a good example, like say if you don't use a feathered brush and you go way too far, this is what happens. So
I don't want that. That's like a boil. That's some sort of burn.
The key is just to, clean it up a little bit for me. And it's less obviously about cleaning up like really like, like things like if someone has like a mole or something, like I'm fine with that. But it's more like almost things that I've done, like, oh, well, the light wasn't great, so like we have that element. And obviously I'm not going to go in and like burn out all the shadows and things because that would be ridiculous. But I mean, I like this highlight on his arm. It just, that was a bit blown out. So we just, first thing to do is you just like get the skin tone a little bit closer. So you just decrease exposure, pull it on the highlights a little bit, and then I go over and clone just a little bit of skin out of it. Now we'll get into the stuff that's less tedious and boring. Usually I then go to the tone curve, and to be honest, James is like he's awesome about being consistent. Me, I almost go photo to photo, which probably isn't the best strategy sometimes. But I mean, with this, like I'm probably gonna pull out. That's probably too much. I'm gonna pull out a little bit of the highlights at the very top, and that'll even out those skin tones a little bit more. But I don't want to take him where there's not enough contrast. So I'm going to give a little bit more of the darkness because I like that this image kind of has those strong contrasts. Next thing I'm going to do is I like this floral piece in his vest. So I'm going to just...
Oh, you're bringing out. Okay.
Bring out just a little bit of highlights on this side.
Whoa.
And I really like his tattoos. So like... I just want there to be just a little bit more over here. And the key with all this stuff is just don't overdo it. Do less than you think you should. Because if you go the opposite way, it's going to look ridiculous really quick. I mean, it gets ridiculous really, really quick. I mean, we've all seen like a part of someone's glowing.
Right.
Like it's literally glowing.
If you look at them and go, they look slightly radioactive, then you've gone
And it's usually along the edge. And you want to just use a really feathered brush because that's going to give you a better edge. And this is probably even a little bit too much, to be honest. So... I'm pretty happy there.
No such thing as too much. You need just.
So I mean,
you just need to pump up that clarity.
I'll touch maybe a tiny bit of clarity in the close and then mask out the rest. But I'll just go in and kind of like sometimes there's things that you see in a photograph that you really like. That you just when you shot it the direction of the light. Like if James wanted this guy against this wall. This pocket square couldn't really, and what James shoots for and what I shoot for are different things. So
I do think you could bring out that chest hair a little more.
I should just bring out all of his chest hair.
I think that you could really go almost radioactive on the chest hair.
And actually,
perfect. Leave it like.
I'm gonna get rid of that because that was not what I wanted. I missed my whatever button that I'm missing. I'm missing some sort of button.
You're missing some button.
I'm missing some button that I like. I don't know what it is, but we will get through.
It's not your feather.
I think it's my done button.
Yeah.
And my like weird. Show what I'm show what areas I'm choosing and masking button.
Weird.
I don't know why. It's like they were in this bottom toolbar. It's normally
there. I don't know where
it went. That's fine. All right, so now we are pretty much done with that stuff. So I just wanted this to have a little bit more of a pop because I think it's an interesting element. You can see like there's just a little bit softer gradation here now. And you can also do this with the tones if you really get in there and like adjust micro adjustments. You can pull out almost anything just with the tones.
So it almost seems like a lot of your upfront work, both in brushes and with the tone curve actually is like kind of corrective.
Yes, because I like most of my things I try to romanticize a little bit or present a more idyllic kind of idea.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just it depends on the type of work I'm doing too. Like certain types of portraits I do are much more focused on the mood, but like for my street, I'm editing this more like how I'd edit my street style. It's very much about trying to have something like very clean, very kind of like if you shoot street and you see my work, you're like, wow, like that dude's really good at getting the light right.
Oh,
like
okay,
like presenting something that's like a very polished final result.
Yeah,
And then the next thing I'll do is I usually just see what a little contrast does. And I just play around with it a little bit and see, okay, like that's way too much. And I'll usually add a good bit, and then like his lips, for whatever reason, dude's got like some super luscious red lips, and the boost in clarity does not help that
Luscious.
at all. So I'm gonna go in and desaturate the lips some, just a little bit because I don't know.
That's the lip slider.
And I mean, I'm also going to bring these up a little bit because I don't. There, I think that looks much. There's probably much more. I wasn't there, but like, if I took this photograph and like for some reason my camera ended up like, you know how sometimes you'll just get a color that's just not what it was.
Okay.
I'll be like, okay, I need to correct that a little bit. So I feel like this is a little bit more natural. I feel like I could even go even a little bit farther on his lips. That's probably too much, but
Perfect. All the way up.
Yeah, see, this is
That's what we're looking
this
for
is
right
why
there.
a lot
Very
of times
good.
people I think get scared of some of the brushes and things. Is it's really easy to overdo it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Even though
it's
it's
just like
non-destructive, it's
yeah,
very
it's
destructive.
it's very destructive in terms of your finished look. And then so I like that so far. I like his tattoos, and I do think, even though I know James hates clarity, I think a little clarity to him would be really cool to his tattoos in the background.
Nothing wrong with a little clarity.
So, and like this kind of harsher light actually handles the clarity surprisingly well. So I might go like up that much, but then I'm going to do another really boring adjustment.
That's called full frame.
And then this is
What that is.
this is then I'll usually go in and brush down like face skin, because clarity just makes skin look terrible. But I kind of like what like a little clarity does to his beard and like a little bit into the clothes, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with about that much. But I almost always will pull it out of the face because it just I agree, like clarity to the face just looks terrible.
It can go too far very easily.
Yeah, like I mean, it just wrecks everything. And if people can be like, wow, that guy definitely boosted the clarity, you did too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think his tattoos are so interesting. A lot of my retouching is actually just kind of enhancing some elements that I found interesting. So we might add like a little bit more clarity and a little bit more contrast to the forearms. And I mean, a lot of my edits are not.
You wouldn't have to add contrast to your forearms, Will.
No.
You wouldn't need it.
A lot of my edits though aren't so much like big things. It's things that you might think just look fine for, and a lot of times they do. But for me, it's just kind of nailing down these really tedious little things that I like just kind of end up bothering me with. A lot of times I don't feel like I took quite the photo I wanted to take. And like I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why is that glowing?
All right. Very
All
good.
right, I have no idea.
Okay, now
what
it's my
happened.
turn.
All right.
Why did it do that? See, and it, okay. there
Okay,
you go.
okay, I think
that
it-
little
I
bar
think
at the
it-
bottom would have helped that.
I think it was just a little slow. Okay, all right. So, and now actually I don't have my little bar, so I'm just gonna have to kill this guy because he did not work out how
And
I
you can do
wanted.
some erasing too if need be.
Yes.
I don't know if that was what you're looking for. but-
Yes. We're gonna just skip racing. We'll just cancel it out, and then we'll just open a new one really quick, and we'll paint.
Start from the top.
We'll paint it in just a little bit, just to get some of that tattoo detail out. And I desaturated some reds, so I'm going to give him a little bit of saturation back into his tattoo. just to get it about back to where it really originally was. So that's like the beginning of the edit. And then on a shot like this, I like a little bit of a vignette. I mean, it's already kind of a punchy image, so I'm going to add not much. And this is where it's like really like kind of want to...
I find that I'll mess with vignettes, and then afterwards I'll be like, dear God, I went way too far.
Yeah, I always think like you should always subtract like a good bit from where you think is good. So like I like here's not bad. Like I'll go like here, and it's like you don't even think it's a difference until you double click it. Right. So it's like a lot of times it's good just to see what you've done. So like that just softens up the background a little bit. He's still really strong, which I like. And then what I would do next is I would probably play with some split toning. Especially because this is kind of a unique image in terms of its shadows and its highlights. So I would probably go in, and I like to do complementary color split tones.
Dude, I never knew that was there.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
So I'll go like...
I'll pull the sliders. I never knew you could click on it and that would pop up. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. He's wearing a purple shirt. So I want to stay out of the purple. So I'll maybe do red and green, because sometimes you can make the colors they're wearing get kind of funky. So I'll go with like...
Perfect.
Like kind of, I usually go a little bit above the midpoint. And then I'm done. No.
Yeah, this is it. Great.
And then
good Tumblr.
I'll really desaturate it until I feel like there's just... you could feel it in the shadows, but if you don't see it, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's there, but it's not there. All this stuff is just very small edits, and that's good to go there. And then his highlights, since his skin's already in the reddish range, I'm going to go with I'll go with kind of like a pinkish red. There we go, and that's beautiful. And we're done.
Very good.
So we'll go maybe a little bit more on the red. And
a lot of people say it's all about the 10%. I think for you, it's all about the 150%. You know.
Yeah. Here we go.
I mean, that's
what real photography looks like right here.
I don't know why no one has.
And then
really gone down this road.
Sometimes I do split toning and I just hate it, and I go back to where I was before. But I think it can just add just a little bit. It's subtle, but for some reason your eye will be like, wow, this is more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Just because it's just the basics of like complementary colors. So now like his purples kind of turned a little washed out. I don't mind that, but I'm pretty okay with this. I would probably, even though I usually don't push the contrast this much, I'd probably push in a little bit more contrast and push out a little bit of highlights from that. And then I would probably grab this brush again and then pull up the saturation on a shirt again a little bit, because my highlights kind of negated a little bit of that. So some of it's like...
Everybody likes negated highlights.
Just going backwards and forwards and kind of changing something and then making sure you go back and make an adjustment on it, because you've kind of...
because everything affects everything.
Exactly. So it's not like you just do one adjustment and it doesn't affect anything else. So I'm pretty close to being done.
You feel good about that?
I'm gonna like see what like. Sometimes I just play with random sliders.
Yeah.
I think especially when you start off, it's really good. I'm gonna give him a little bit more saturation. I think he can handle it.
And of course, I think he can handle it. He looks like a guy who can handle some saturation. This is something that you could do for hours. As always.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know.
And I mean, the other thing is see all that pulling out I did on the the right side of the image. You can easily do too by removing the shadows. It just depends on if you want to be selective where you're removing those shadows, or if you want it to be more across the image. So I'm actually going to pull out a little bit of the shadows in this, because I like getting a little bit more detail over here. But I'm going to keep my blacks pretty low. And Let's see. Your skin tone looks good. You can see there's just a little bit of pink in the highlights, and I might give the shadows just a little bit more saturation.
What's interesting is I wouldn't have guessed that you split tone. Like
It just depends
you
on.
do
It
subtly.
really depends on the image too.
Yeah.
An image like this where there's not a lot of color going on, his skin's really easy to work with color wise.
Yeah.
I'm much more likely to split tone. It's more of a recent development. If you look at like my past 50, like past maybe like 30 images, there's a lot more split toning.
Ah.
And some of that came from I was just using some more filmic presets. And I just decided that I liked certain looks. So like I take one that I'd like and I kind of play around and see where I could like end up with my own version of it. And then there's certain ones I'll use if I have a certain situation I just don't feel like doing. I'll use the preset and I just know certain things. Like I'll have to pull out the oranges. The other thing I'll do, but I didn't actually do it much with this image because it's very neutral, is like I'll play with the saturation sliders.
Yeah.
A good bit. But this image, I didn't really feel that much of a need just because there's not a lot of colors going on.
Right.
I mean, like maybe if I wanted his shirt, but I mean, I kind of like how this image, right? Like you shot it a bit washed, it's a bit, it's a harsh light, so it's a little bit washed out.
Yeah.
Visually. So it's like, I don't think it makes sense. Like, I think that's the other thing people should think about. Like, it doesn't make sense to be like, obviously that's way too much, but like, I don't
like
even
bad
think
way
adding in
photography.
like, like going like even this far into the purple. Like, I think it just works better, maybe if you want to add like, +9 to the purple. But like, even then, I like it better at 0. And that's personal preference.
Right.
But I mean, this is something where I might even remove some of the purple. Maybe you want it a little bit more washed out.
Sure.
And you just have that little bit of red. And maybe you even want to kill the red in the, tattoo. Like maybe you think that's a distracting element. But I think it's a lot is considering the image.
Yeah.
Like when you edit. And I think that's a big thing. Or shooting for the way you edit. Like you do a great job of shooting the shot for the way you edit.
Sure.
I don't do as good of a job of that. So I edit for what I shot. Like if I shot a certain way, I know split toning might not be the best idea on certain looks, and I know that like certain filmic presets are going to look terrible on this, and some things I'll just go a clean edit and I won't touch any of the color adjustments on them.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
I think I take a lot of greens out of my image, like a lot of grass colors I think can be really distracting. So I'll pull a lot of greens out.
I tend to do reds and blues.
Okay,
I'll tone those back because those tend to. If anything's gonna be overbearing for me, it's gonna be a ridiculous red like sign in the background.
Yeah, that's a great one. I
You
like
know?
greens for me. I think it's a lot because there'll just be a lot of green, and I might have like a 2-color story in what a person's wearing, and I like that green is just everywhere, and it's like it just feels overpowering.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a strong color, I think it's like one of the colors you find a lot of around in Greenville. Literally,
Right.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I think there's my edit.
Sweet. Okay.
All right.
Now we're gonna switch.
Sorry that was so boring, people.
I gotta switch chairs here. No, that's fine. That's post processing is all about the 10%. Okay. So I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick little export of this guy, so that we can. I want to compare them in the end.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a quick little export. We're gonna put that there, and we're gonna call this Will's
Extra long edit.
extra long edit. Okay, and then I am going to, as soon as this exports, going to hit reset as soon as it exports. Will, have you had any interesting food lately?
Well, I don't really.
Okay, it's done. All right. So, we're going to start back again. This is where we're back to normal. Reset button fixes all. And not that that was bad. I'm not saying I had to fix your photo. But, okay, so we're going to jump in. Here we go.
All right. James is going to be way faster.
So, so I'm going to start with The way that I tend to edit, the look that I tend to go for is this kind of very punchy but very faded kind of, I like to call it almost milky kind of filmic look.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
So I literally have a preset called Milky. I could just push it, but I'm not. Have to recreate this. And I recently switched from a kind of green, like I use my green shadows.
Yes.
Recently switched away from that, which is a big milestone. Because I wanted my Instagram and my Tumblr and just all my photos to kind of have a cohesive look. I'm always striving for
that is
this deeper level
your strong point, cohesion,
of consistency.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's a lot of hard work, and it limits you tremendously, which can get very tough. But I like that's how I like to do things right now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on to get rid of all the lens issues that are happening.
That really works well.
What?
The profile correction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like amazing.
With the fit, now you should see it with like my 35DX lens. It takes a lot of work. I actually have a preset for it because it's so much. It's so much sliding and stuff like that. But this is a 51.8 for full frame, even though it's a little older and it tends. I've noticed vignetting more. I've never had this problem until I switched to full frame. So full frame is can be pretty unforgiving in the vignetting and profile lens problems department.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So the first thing I start with, I don't normally touch these a whole lot because they scare me.
I touch those all the time,
and
as you guys saw in the video.
So what I start with is a lot of times I'll start with the exposure. Generally speaking, the first thing I do is I'm going to take the exposure and kind of just get it where I want it. I tend to try to, if anything, underexpose my shots a little bit, and in editing, not so much in I do underexpose in shooting, but when I edit,
that's an important point too. Is like you should always expose for the highlights rather than the shadows.
Okay.
Because you can pull so much out of the shadows.
Oh, you're saying to
not overexpose.
Not overexpose the highlights.
Because you can't save that data.
Right,
it's
that's hard
pretty
to
much
save.
gone.
Yes.
I mean, even that little forehead thing y'all saw, like
if it came out like this,
you're not gonna get.
It would have been tough.
What he
would have been tough.
Yeah.
So, my biggest thing that I tend to focus on when I edit my photos is my shadows. I want really ridiculously punchy shadows. And so I'll pull down the exposure a little bit, and then see, it's weird because I'm used to just hitting the preset and then playing with these sliders to get it right. But
and that's an important point. I mean,
and all my work happens in curves in the preset, and then I'm just using the sliders to tweak it afterwards.
Right. It's important for people. You've said this before in your videos. If they you say that if you do something like more than like every time if you do something almost every photo, you should have a preset for it.
I've never said that before.
Didn't you?
I'm just kidding.
I feel like you said that. You said something
no,
about,
if you do something more than once, you need a button for it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think like a preset's like a good.
Presets are amazing.
Like if you feel like you're doing the same thing to your photos again and again and again and again, you're just wasting a lot of time.
Right. No,
right? And we could have skipped a ton on even what I went through, like with just certain things that I would have automatically adjusted with a preset.
Yes. So presets are amazing. I mean, that's like the most incredible. I think that's probably the most incredible feature of Lightroom. Is just the organization you can have with presets and having and then downloading other people's presets.
Yes.
And all of that stuff is really good. Not
being scared away though when you apply your preset and it doesn't end up. Like you have to tweak. Like if preset doesn't mean it's done.
It's so undestructive, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you need to tweak it though. Like don't get scared when you apply it. Like it's like it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like a preset does not mean you just apply it and don't have to touch anything.
Right.
I mean, maybe once in a blue moon, but in general, like I apply a preset, then I have to go in and do work.
Tweak it. Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just think of presets as like magic. Like you just press it and it's done, and it should look perfect.
Right.
On the preset.
Right.
And that's just not.
I think a good preset should get you about 70 to 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
Generally. and then that last like grind is you fixing, everything. So you fixing everything. Okay, so the exposure. I'm gonna edit this photo, Will. How about that?
All right. Let's let you edit this photo.
So no, I'm gonna take the exposure, pull it down a little bit, just because it immediately felt a little too bright for me. So I'm gonna pull it down. I'm gonna take the tone curve, get a nice. See, this is where I completely differ from Will. I think get a nice punchy tone curve.
Yeah.
Very.
This has gone a complete opposite of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is good. This is important for people to see.
So I used to do a little bit of this, but I tend to run into a lot of problems when I pull it off the left side because it gets pretty intense. What I've actually started to do is I'll leave it there and then pull it up. Probably maybe around there-ish. And then I'm doing this with the next 10 steps that I'm going to take in mind, right? So right now it looks a little bit overkill, maybe a little bit too shadowy, what's going on. But I'm doing this because I'm going to kind of take further steps to remedy things, if that makes sense. So like
he's just lying to you guys.
I'm just lying. It's just gonna be this much the whole time. So I'm gonna right there. I like to pull down on the highlights quite a bit, crush those a little bit. Just kidding. That's not the button I want to push. And then I'm gonna kind of tone it back a little bit at this point. And then I really go all over the place. So forgive me, but I immediately will take my saturation slider. And I'll pull that down. And I do a lot of things by numbers. So if you see me like sitting here trying to get it to one number, I like to get it to about.
You can click.
I know. It's just I don't want to just click a number and then be like, oh, it's good. Like I'm gonna play with it, but I'll take it and kind of
He likes 31.
I had 31. I'll do for
all you preset freaks out there.
My preset, yeah. James is. Everybody wants to know what my saturation number is. My preset is actually set at 41 because that works on some photos.
Do you start?
But that's
like more. Do you tend to pull up? Do you think you tend to pull your saturation up?
I don't go lower than 41.
Okay.
And I'll pull it up to generally. I'll go 30, and every now and then maybe up to like the 20s. But I tend to bring it.
Yeah. Well, if you go past 40. Unless you're gonna pull the vibrance up some, like things just almost get like this weird zombie bod.
Yeah. Right. It's Okay.
Yeah.
So, and also grain. This is me jumping around. Also grain. I like a lot of grain. Grain is a big part of my photos. And see, I haven't. I think I tried to edit this photo. I had some trouble with it, so I haven't posted it yet because the shadows are pretty harsh.
It's a challenging image.
It's a little bit challenging.
That's why you saw me like for my. I think it's a good photo for both of us to edit because I think for both of our styles, it's not really the easiest photo to work with.
Yeah.
Like there's some pretty
like,
harsh gradations.
Yeah.
But it's not like a moody night. It has some challenges. But I think it's important because like we all take photos that at times of day or at places or things that like are just a more challenging edit. It doesn't mean they're a bad photo. It just is a more challenging edit.
Yeah. Well, and some these kinds of photos can work for me in the end. Like these just kind of harsh shadows, but it's a little bit tougher to work with sometimes. So. As we were talking, what I was doing there was I was doing a little bit of just corrective kind of stuff and just getting my tones feeling right. I'm pulling up on these sliders now. So I'm now kind of more into what I would normally do once I have a preset. And I'm like just taking these sliders and pulling up so the shadows are just a little less harsh there. And
I think it's interesting too.
Lots of white balance work.
With your tone curves, you really changed like the highlight crunching I did in different ways, you did through your tone curve.
Yeah.
So like there's always different ways to get around different things, depending on where you want. Like I wanted to keep a really strong highlight on his left side.
Yeah.
So I went in and like worked on it with a brush, whereas James was like for an overall crunching of the highlights.
Right,
so,
right,
I mean,
right.
different tools for different purposes.
So, this is feeling pretty good to me. I've tried to grow to get to this place of allowing photos to kind of be imperfect, and like that's kind of the beauty of a lot of good filmic looking photos is just they're not completely perfect, and just kind of like when you edit every day, your mind starts to think that processing is everything ever, right? Like it has, like you have to get this perfect, and that it's everything that matters to the picture, and you kind of have to take a step back every now and then and go, there's so much. I mean, everything doesn't have to be spotless perfect. It needs to fit into this bigger picture of your photo story, your style, your just any given. I mean, like it has to work into a bigger picture than just I'm trying to fix his pocket on his shirt.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, I mean, I think it's easy to get bogged down in the details.
I like how you like work it into like a platitude. Like, it's easy to get bogged down into the details.
But I mean, James is completely right. I think also we can get so much caught up in that, and like the real thing is taking a better photo, not necessarily better, but like taking a good photograph.
To begin with.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, regardless of how you like to edit and things, like, unless you're just going to pull saturation and clarity to 100%, I think, like, a good photograph, regardless of if you don't like to edit a certain way or you do like to edit a certain way, it speaks more volumes than your editing style in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it helps you present your image and have a voice and things like that, but in the end, it's like the original photograph you took has the most of the impact.
Yes.
The editing just helps. It's like a minor part.
It's
not
tool.
the be all end all.
Right.
Really great editing, I mean, like, in my mind, never fixes a bad photograph. It might make it prettier, it might, make it moodier, but it doesn't fix, like, if you just are like not happy with the image you took, if you just don't think it's inspiring or well composed or, emotive or anything like that.
Yes. Okay, I exported mine. I think I'm done.
Gosh. I think I went 10,000 times longer.
So this is a totally different look, right? I'm gonna bring both of these up so we can look at them. Hold on.
This works so well for your style, though.
This shot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Make sure I got everything. Okay, so now we're gonna jump back out of Lightroom, Will, and we're going to talk about these photos.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some magic editing and make them show up in the thing. He's making motions like the camera's on. But no, I like it. You're getting into the moment.
I'm really getting
This is
into
good.
it.
Okay, we just picture us doing motions of jumping back out into the world. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're back. How'd you feel about that editing experience?
It was a little rough. I was missing my one thing, my one bar.
Yeah, your done bar.
Yeah, I needed my done bar.
Your done bar.
And it's got a check mark, too. It's the check mark and done bar.
Check mark, done bar.
Yes.
That's like a law firm. Done bar.
Check bar, done bar.
Check mark and done bar for all your legal needs. So we're looking at these two photos side by side here.
Yes.
Very different looks.
Completely different looks.
Yeah, mine's definitely more faded, a little darker, kind of more maybe moody. Yours is very vibrant and punchy.
Pretty punchy. It's
Very
not very
punchy.
color. I kind of wish I'd taken my purples down more, though, now that I look at it.
Your pinks, like your highlights?
No,
or?
I wish I had desaturated the purples.
Oh, the purple in his head.
In his
sleeves
shirt.
and shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should have desaturated that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
Okay.
That's
No,
the
it
only
looks-
thing I would change.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with everything.
I really like your blue shadows. Your bluish greenish shadows. It's a very nice tone.
Yeah, I think especially in the glasses, I think it really, because they already had a bit of that green tint, just kind of enhanced that. And then I think looking at them side by side, you can actually see the pink highlights a little bit more now.
Yeah.
It's subtle though. It's like that's the key, right? In both edits, it's like it's not overly done in any way, and we both killed the highlights.
Yeah.
But in very
Well,
different
some would
ways.
say that we've overly. If you're like, I feel like there are a lot of people out there, maybe older photographers especially, that might think this is overkill. Maybe.
Well, I think the problem though is like almost all films had such. There's like very few films that just had like what you would consider like what comes out of a camera is a raw file.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's so flat. Like a raw file just has like nothing to it.
You're saying when you scan film, it's going to have these types of
it's going to have these type
in.
of elements built in.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's kind of a stupid argument because like I see a lot of old film that I love that people shot and it's like the look can be like way more exaggerated even than what we're doing. Like the film could be very exaggerated.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's kind of funny when film people are like, people do too much of their images digitally.
Yeah.
Because like there's no film that looks like a raw out of camera photo. Like there's no film
like
that's
crap
that
for
flat.
one.
Yeah, there's just like nothing that looks that like neutral and boring.
Yeah.
In film.
Yeah.
Like there's no film type that bad.
Yeah.
Just burglars breaking in.
all.
Don't worry about
That's
it.
all.
It's fine.
We're just gonna die. That's
It's
all.
just the purge.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Okay, hey, if we brought you value today, if you made it this far, let us know. Let us know how we can scratch your itch better. Tell us more post-processing videos, how we can focus in on one element of post-processing and things.
Or like
of that
tell
nature.
Will he needs to go faster with his post
Tell
processing.
Will, yeah, just to chill out with all that spot healing stuff. Like, what was that about? Bye, guys. Have a lovely day.
Have a wonderful day, guys.